Welcome back to Olympus Critics. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a like for the algorithm that does the channel grow. So this was a rumor a couple of months ago about the character Severus Snape from the Harry Potter movies. Now this will be the series, but Papa Ezredu, if I'm pronouncing his last name correct or incorrect, I apologize, has been casted as the new Severus Snape that was previously played by Alan Rickman. Loved him in Die Hard, by the way. I don't like the decision. I don't. I do not. A lot of people feel like this is not following the source material from the books as he was described, which I will let you hear from a Harry Potter fan, a diehard Harry Potter fan, his perspective on it, because I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I've never been interested in the series or the books as a kid, but I understand how people feel when this character that has been described, just like how comic book characters that I grew up listening to or watching, how we've seen how Hollywood has decided to either gender swap them or race swap them. I disagree with it. I'm gonna stand by that. If we're gonna give black representation, I want it be done properly. Like, that's why I said Damson Idris needs to be the new Black Panther. We need to get T'Challa back on the big screen. I'm gonna keep beating that drum. But when you have something like this, I just disagree with it, because you had something similar a couple of years ago when you had the Hellboy movie with David Harbour coming out, and I mean Ed Skrein, if I pronounce his last name correct, he was cast as a supporting character. And I remember there was backlash because the character in the comics was a Japanese American, and he ended up stepping down because they felt like he was whitewashing it. So they ended up bringing in Daniel Day Kim. Nobody had a problem with that because they was trying to make sure they stayed true to the source material. Didn't have a problem with that. I feel the same way about this, how some Harry Potter fans they feel like they need to stay focused on the source material. For what they describe, that doesn't sound like a black male. And for what I've seen from people's clips and stuff showing that how he's bullied by Harry Potter's father dealing with a tree, that don't sound like you want to be touching that, making him black. But I'm gonna let you hear from a true Harry Potter fan his perspective on it. And I'm going to let you guys hear what he had to say, because I think he was cooking with this. But make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. But let me let you guys hear what he had to say.
Severus Snape might be a black guy in the upcoming Harry Potter show. Is it because Snape cast a race transition spell?
Wingardium Blackiosa.
Or because he drank a polyjuice potion? Well, we don't know the reason, but it likely has something to do with HBO's goal of being committed to inclusive, diverse casting. Defenders of this casting choice are celebrating it as a step toward inclusivity. They also note that Snape's race is never specified in the books. Critics counter that Snape is described as a pale, pallid, and sallow-skinned person, none of which are terms that you'd use to describe the actor who's being cast for this role, Papa Ezredu. As for me, I grew up with Harry Potter. I remember waiting until midnight for the next book to drop. And it's also cool, as a black person, to see Papa having success. We even have similar last names. And I get that racially diverse casting can offer new perspectives, but this is forced. Harry Potter is a part of history. Many millennials' fondest childhood memories are with these characters. As a little kid in the Bronx, at no point did I ever think, there needs to be more black people in these books. Fans weren't complaining about Harry Potter's diversity back then. We were just happy to experience the wizarding world as it was. Making Snape black might help HBO's diversity push, but it's coming at the cost of being true to the source material. And overlooking that by saying Snape's race was never specified when he was described in terms that you would never use for a black person is evasion, not explanation. Now, if HBO wants more racial diversity, they can do it with characters who don't have such a defined physical appearance. But my bigger frustration is this. I'm tired of seeing shows and video games lecture me about how the world ought to be. I don't need a black Snape any more than I need a black Legolas or a white Mace Windu. And when you change one part of history, you affect other parts of it. For example, now James Potter bullying Snape as a youth has a racial dynamic that wasn't in the books. Is that now racist? Well, it needs to be reconciled. And if you think race isn't central to Snape's role, I agree. But we can't be expected to not see color on one hand while HBO emphasizes color on the other. HBO promised us when they announced this show that it would be a faithful adaptation to the books. This is causing us to lose faith. And even if J.K. Rowling supports this because her ideas have changed, the history she made hasn't. So please, to HBO and all of Hollywood, let us cherish our childhoods. Let us enjoy a fantasy world that is separate from the modern world, and stop using old art to serve new agendas.